Between 1979 and 1981, a wave of terror swept through the streets of Atlanta, Georgia. At least 28 African American children were murdered, leaving behind a trail of shattered lives and unanswered questions. The case would come to be known as the Atlanta child murders, but for many, it's still an unsolved mystery. Was justice served when Wayne Williams was convicted in 1982? Or did a more sinister force go unpunished? On July 28, 1979, the body of Edward Teddy Smith, a 14-year-old boy, was discovered on McDaniel Street. This would be the first of many tragic discoveries in what would become one of the most infamous serial killer cases in American history. Over the next 2 years, 27 more children and teenagers would fall victim to this elusive predator. The investigation was a massive undertaking, involving over 100 agents from local, state, and federal agencies. In May 1981, the FBI launched a high-tech stakeout operation, staking out nearly a dozen bridges in the Atlanta area. On May 22, 1981, detectives heard a splash beneath one of these bridges and caught a glimpse of a white Chevrolet station wagon fleeing the scene. The driver of this station wagon was Wayne Williams, a 23-year-old journalist who had been seen in the area around the time of several murders. During questioning, Williams claimed he was on his way to audition as singer, but investigators believed they had finally caught their man. The evidence against Williams included fibers from his home and vehicles that matched those found on the victims' bodies. But some have questioned whether this evidence was enough to convict Williams of such heinous crimes. Jury selection began in December 1981, with Judge Clarence Cooper presiding over the case. The prosecution's presentation was criticized for being circumstantial and lacking concrete evidence linking Williams directly to each murder. After 11 hours of deliberation, the jury delivered a guilty verdict on February 27, 1982. Wayne Williams was sentenced to 2 life terms for the murders of Jimmy Ray Payne and Nathaniel Cater. But the case of the Atlanta child murders raises more questions than answers. Was justice truly served? Or did the true killer walk free? In March 2019, the Atlanta police reopened the cases in hopes that new technology would lead to a conviction for the murders that were never resolved. But as of November 2025, no results have been made public. For many families and loved ones, the case remains unsolved. They continue to demand answers, wondering if their children's lives were worth more than a conviction based on circumstantial evidence. The Atlanta child murders remain one of America's most infamous and disturbing serial killer cases. As we reflect on the events of 1979 to 1981, it becomes clear that justice has been elusive for far too long. Today, we remember the victims who fell prey to this monstrous crime. Their lives were cut short, but their memories live on in our hearts and minds. As we strive for a world where such crimes are unthinkable, we must confront the dark corners of human nature that allow them to occur. The Atlanta child murders may be one of America's most infamous unsolved mysteries, but it also serves as a reminder that justice is often imperfect and incomplete.